The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
The Truth, it's your girl Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. Milwaukee, thank you so much for tapping in with me this morning. I'm sorry, this afternoon. Hope that you all had an amazing day today. Truth Nation, it's your chance to win. We are giving away a pair of tickets to Black Arts Fest MKE happening Saturday, August 1st at the Summerfest grounds in Milwaukee. Don't miss an unforgettable day of music, culture, art, food, and community, featuring artists such as the Lattimore Brothers and Dave Hollister live on stage. Listen every day for your cue to call and score your pair of tickets. Black Arts Fest MKE Saturday, August 1st at the Summerfest grounds, brought to you by the award-winning 101.7 The Truth, Milwaukee Black Talk. Hey, we got to get into it today. It's a lot happening, not just in the city of Milwaukee, but throughout the entire country. Throughout the entire world, honestly. I seen in breaking news something about Iran has declared a full war with the United States. That story is currently developing. As it continues to develop, we will follow it to see what actually does that mean for the citizens in the United States. There was also a police officer who fatally shot a man in Madison, Wisconsin. We're going to touch on that for a little bit as well. But currently, there are breaking developments in the Nolan Wells investigation. An independent autopsy was released that leaves major questions unanswered. We'll explain what the doctors found, what they couldn't determine, and what's next in the investigation. The independent autopsy commissioned by Nolan Wells' family has now been released, and despite the new findings, it does not determine either the cause or manner of death. All of this information comes from people.com, CBS News.com, as well as NewYorkPost.com. So basically, Nolan Wells hired their attorney, and we've talked about this and touched on this all week. But yesterday, as I was researching and catching up on some of the things pertaining to the case, there were so many different allegations. So much has unraveled. And I truly, truly believe this is something that we all have to pay attention to. We all have, not we all, but some of us have children, specifically Black young men. And when you're in the South, we already know what type of time they be on, right? But these new allegations are something that is noteworthy, and I do, again, anything I can do to shed light to this situation, I'm willing to. But basically, the family hired Ben Crump as their attorney, and in doing so, they conducted a private autopsy report. So they had to take his body from Mississippi and ship it to, I believe, Washington, D.C. And one of the one of the facts that came out yesterday was that he was missing his throat and his stomach, meaning that the coroner's office in Mississippi removed his throat and removed his stomach and shipped him to D.C. Why is this important? It's important because those are the very things you need to determine, if there were any type of substances in his system. Remember also allegedly that one of his friends stated that the people he was hanging around were involved in using heavy substances. So having that removed eliminates that. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, but I can imagine that if it's anything pertaining to the throat, could have something to do with some type of trauma, right? And not to mention, the other day I mentioned there was some type of the autopsy report that was done in DC stated that there was some type of red discoloration on the back of his head. Well, apparently one of Nolan Wells' friends or former friends came out and stated allegedly one of the other boys that he was with, who happens to be a baseball player, supposedly hit Nolan in the back of the head with a baseball bat and then got rid of the baseball bat. Again, allegedly, I'm not sure if that is something that is a fact, but that has came out as well. What we do know is that based off of the independent autopsy report, no skull fractures or significant deep tissue injuries were identified. There was advanced oh my gosh, listen. His body was so decomposed to the point where it was extremely difficult for the coroner's office to do his job the way that he wanted to do. Again, this story is triggering, is heartfelt, is sad, is all of the above. So for those who are listening, I do apologize in advance if this is something that triggers you. But I do want to make sure that we have a full understanding on what exactly is happening with this case. Not just because we want to be nosy, but because, he's all of our sons, right? This is something that has happened continuously in this country. Nolan Wells is just one of many. There's been many reports within the past couple of months of young black men who are coming up missing, who are coming up deceased, who are coming up being hung from a tree. There was a gentleman who was found hanging from a tree outside of a festival in, I believe, Mississippi as well. There was a situation with a gentleman in Chicago that we were looking up earlier this week as well. So this isn't just happening, or hasn't just happened to Nolan Wells. It continues to happen. And our job, especially for mothers, black women, black men, fathers, our job when we have a platform is to make sure that we bring this to light. We already know that we live in a country who has not favored us when it comes to receiving the proper justice in situations like this. So again, to any of those who may be listening in regards to the details pertaining to Nolan Wells' case, I do want to apologize in advance. This can be triggering. But again, so the autopsy, the independent autopsy report showed that he had some red discoloration on the back of his head. His body was extremely decomposed. His throat and stomach was missing by the time his body was shipped from Mississippi to Washington, D.C. And then allegedly there was another article that came up that stated the coroner office in this specific town, the woman who has to write the reports, has never ruled any black men in that city, in that state, as homicide. Any black man that came across her desk in similar situations, she never ruled it as homicide, which means that, to me, this is my personal opinion, it sounds like a cover-up, right? And we all know, based off of things that has happened in our own backyard, what that looks like. And to me, that speaks volumes, right? I am glad that the family decided to go ahead and conduct that private and separate autopsy report. But this is my issue. This is me talking personally, right? My issue is that when we have situations like this, we tend to run to the same people, the Al Sharptons, the Ben Crumps, so on and so on. And it's no slight to them and the work that they have done and the work that they will continue to do. But my stance on this is that we have to do more, right? And I get it. I get it when you're going through it. I'm not a parent who has lost a child, God forbid. So I don't know what that feels like, right? I know that there may be times they're weak. There may be times they, want to fight but don't have the strength to. But I'm saying all of this to say, make sure that you have the proper people in place to do what it is that needs to be done to ensure that you receive the proper justice. A lot of people like to capitalize off of situations like this. A lot of people like to come whenever there's cameras and so on and so on. And the issue with that is their way of thinking is like, if it doesn't benefit them, right? Do it because it needs to be done. Don't do it because you have a hidden agenda. And I just feel like a lot of times with a lot of people who have been around for a long time, especially when certain allegations have been made, I'm not quite sure if these are people you can trust. Some of these people may be people that are being paid off too, right? Do your research. If this was my child, I am not going to take any recommendations from anybody without properly making sure I understand and research this person that's going to conduct the autopsy. I have to do, I can't take your word for it just because of who you are or your name or your status. And the reason why I say that is because I don't understand how his autopsy report states undetermined. I get it. Some of the organs are missing. The body was decomposed. But undetermined to me sounds like when people say sure. Sure is not a yes, but it's not a no. Undetermined is like, hey, I'm not ruling it out, but I'm not saying that was the case either. Cut the BS. Cut the BS. There is so much that, and another thing too, the importance of how fast his body was transported from Mississippi to the coroner's office in DC. That plays a part in it. So I was watching Nancy Grace, and she was interviewing a doctor who conducts autopsies, and he was saying that the discoloration on the back of his head could have came from when he was being transported. Because there was no bruises on the outside, that it could have came from something else. Everything other than the fact that what was allegedly said by one of Nolan's friends, which was that another young man had hit him in the back of the head, allegedly with a baseball, whom also happens to be a baseball player, right? Like, you go to college, you get your degree, you have over 20, 30 plus years of experience in this field. There is no reason why you can't come off the top of your head just from experience alone and say, hey, even though this is undetermined, I believe that this is what took place. Based off of my findings and the things that make sense and doesn't make sense, this is what I believe took place. So my call to action specifically with that, the people that's in our community, we need to start taking on these jobs, right? I know it's not an easy job. I know a couple of students that I taught who are actually going to school, right? Mortuary school. We need to be taking on jobs like this so that we can determine and make the proper decision, which is the start of families in situations like this, obtaining and seeking the proper justice. We got to go to commercial break. We are talking updates on the case for Nolan Wells. We want to hear from you, 833-212-1017. Do not touch that dial. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler.
In Milwaukee County, equity means making sure everyone has a real chance to thrive. That's why the Milwaukee County Office of Equity works to help remove barriers, strengthen community connections, and support fair access to opportunities across Milwaukee County. Want to learn what they do, explore resources, or find ways to get involved? Just search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online. Milwaukee County Office of Equity, advancing equity for all Milwaukee County residents. For more information, search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Falling stars through the night, and I've been thinking about you every night.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. Thank you so much for tapping in with us this late afternoon. I hope that you all had an amazing day. Again, for those who are joining us, we are going over the breaking developments inside of the Nolan Wells investigation. First, I would like to give a shout out to everyone who is currently watching us live on YouTube. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, 101.7 The Truth. Follow us on social media at 101.7 as well as Tap In MKE. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Madi. Madi, I don't know where you been. I feel like you've been cheating on the show now. We ain't seen you. Where you been at, man? Madi says, people that's black teach your kids who their enemies are. You mess with my CDs, God can't help you. Listen, trust me when I tell you, there are a lot of parents who are feeling that way, who have children. Again, we are going over the breaking developments inside of the Nolan Wells case. Prior to break, we were speaking about the independent autopsy report that was conducted outside of where Nolan is from and where this situation happened. Apparently, when his body was shipped from Mississippi to D.C. to the independent person who was doing the autopsy report, his stomach and his throat was missing. And if I'm not mistaken, there was no explanation as to why. But if, again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse. But to me, my personal opinion, I believe that was a way for them not to obtain any information regarding if he was given or had taken any type of substances. That most definitely would have shown whether or not. And the fact that those two body parts or internal body parts were missing is ultimately the red flag. The coroner who conducted the report stated that his findings were undetermined. He stated that there was red discoloration observed on the back of his head or skull. And he also said that he could not determine whether it was from trauma or from being transported or just any of those things. He has no idea where it came from, primarily because his body was badly decomposed. For those who are listening, I want to make sure that you understand that this can be triggering, and I do apologize in advance. But again, I would like to thoroughly go over this because this keeps coming up in our community. This keeps happening. There are a lot of young men who have been found deceased, hanging from trees. There was a gentleman, I believe in, don't quote me, I want to say Illinois, recently, who was attending some type of outside rave event in the woods, in the cabins, and allegedly his friends, gang, they sexually assaulted him and then ended up, unaliving him. And that story has not had as much coverage as Nolan Wells. There was another young man in Mississippi who was found hanging from a tree outside of a festival down in Mississippi as well. This continues to happen. Other stories are not being talked about as much as this, which is again why I would like to speak about this, because if you are a parent, specifically a parent who has a young Black child, male or female, these are the things that we need to be aware of, especially if your child is in an environment that may be a little different culturally, right? So getting back to the report, the red discoloration that was observed on the back of Nolan's skull, the autopsy report says that it cannot determine where it came from. But as I was researching this yesterday, I ran across a video in a story from one of his alleged former friends or classmates who stated that apparently one of the young men that Nolan was around allegedly had hit him in the back of his head with a baseball bat. And this young man apparently is a baseball player, which means that whether he is or not, he hit him in the back of the head. But if he's a baseball player, that just makes it more intense, right? Which will then explain the red discoloration that is in the back of his head. And the way that when Nancy Grace was interviewing this doctor who was a coroner as well, he stated exactly where this mark was. And if you touch the back of your head, it is not towards the neck, it's more so in the middle, which means that, well, any part of your head, if you have a significant injury or trauma, obviously, it can kill you. But where he said that Nolan was hit is the place where it would be easy for someone who was trying to do that to hit him with the bat there. And that discoloration, in my opinion, is what caused it, if that is indeed what happened. I am not happy with the fact that the independent autopsy stated undetermined, because again, before we went to break, I was speaking to the fact that if you have been doing this work for a long time, you've went to school, you've seen many cases, then you should know, based off of your experience, combined with the fact whether or not this young man was murdered or if it was an accident. And at this point, I think the whole world know that it wasn't an accident. My call to action was also that young Black people, yes, this is a field that is completely far left and something that is different, but we need to start taking these positions. We need to start making sure that we have youth who are taking positions in the coroner's office so that we can get the correct information documented in order for situations like this and families in situations like this to receive the proper justice. It all starts with the coroner's report. Whatever the coroner puts on that report is going to determine how hard this case is going to be to fight. And speaking of the coroner's office, one of the articles that I came across yesterday was that the lady who is over making these reports in Mississippi, she has never wrote homicide on a coroner's report pertaining to any Black men who were found in situations like this. You can't tell me that she's not paid off. Right? You can't tell me that she's not a part of it. Again, we all know how this system works. We all know that the DAs, the judges, the lawyers, the coroner's office, they're all best buddies. They're all best buddies. So we don't know for a fact, but common sense says she was paid off. We have a caller, Alice on the line. Thank you so much for tapping in with us today.
Well, my question is, why they didn't go after the family for organ harvesting? Excuse me, because there's too many times when Black people come up missing, like the boy in Washington, D.C., his eyes and his pupils was gone. The boy in Atlanta, he was stuffed and all his organs is gone. So why they not going after these people with organ harvesting? And what's up with raping the dead? Because then the boy in
Illinois,
I think it was like Illinois, they had like burn his body up, but you gonna rape a man, burn his body up too? Like, that's some animalistic stuff.
It is. Apparently so they did. Apparently they sexually assaulted him while he was alive, and other people who were around were hearing him scream. And they was telling him that he was drunk or whatever the case may be, but they did this while he was actually alive.
So now you got to get drunk to steal some ass. Oh, excuse me. Then my thing is that's just like the woman who was trying to get pregnant by the dead man.
Right.
Because his flesh rised up, but none didn't come out the mule. So I'm like, what's up with all this animalistic stuff? We want to take organs and I don't know. I don't know. This ain't no mental health neither. This stuff is from all that inbreed, and a lot of that stuff is in the blood. Not us, but that's in the blood. And you know what? Be honest with these young boys. Don't go around no white people by yourself. Now, I'm just going to tell you like it is. Because y'all going around them, y'all coming up floating in rivers, and you're missing kneecaps and jawbones and eyes and rectums. And hey, did they check the boy did they do a rape kit on the boy who was raped alive?
I'm not sure. We're going to cover that tomorrow, though, but I'm not sure on that. I just know we were talking about it with someone who was from Chicago, and I was able to look up and find the story.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Like, damn, that's so animalistic.
It is.
Okay, bye-bye.
It is. Thank
I'm so
you,
glad
Al.
they can't procreate. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you so much for tapping in, Al. Shout out to the chat. Madi says someone needs to pay the supervisor at that coroner's office and a visit, the one in Mississippi. Absolutely. Someone most definitely needs to pay them a visit. We also have to do more. So I don't know what more looks like, right? I come from an organizing background. I've been a part of major situations and worked with families throughout the years who have dealt with similar situations. And I constantly see the same fight over and over and over with the same leaders, with the same way of thinking, with the same strategic methods, all of the above. At what point does it change? Because I'm starting to feel like it's just not enough, right? We have to figure out a way to find allies, to have someone say, hey, this isn't fair. Let me give you the facts, right? Everybody can't be bought and paid for it. There has to be someone. There has to be someone. I was able to find a video, I believe. I'm not sure if this gentleman is a part of the Navy or not, but he was stating that he has actual footage that he did not turn over to law enforcement and that he kept and is willing to give to Nolan's family. And there was a lot of outrage about why he didn't submit it. Well, probably because they were going to delete it, right? Again, if they're bought and paid for and they're being paid off by whoever did it, family or anyone of that nature, it wouldn't be ideal to turn that evidence over. So he has come forth and he has done a public interview stating that he has additional footage, additional videos that he has purposely not given to law enforcement that he is willing to provide to Nolan's family. We are talking about the updates on the Nolan Wells case. Do not touch that dial. At the 5 o'clock hour, we have special guest Jacob Lattimore joining us. And at the 6 o'clock hour, we have special guest, my brother Darius Miles will be joining us as well. We want to hear from you on this topic. What are your thoughts? What do you think is happening with this entire case? 833-212-1017. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler.
Wisconsin voters just made themselves clear. 80% want leaders who hold every publicly funded school accountable for how our kids perform in school. And voters support parents' rights to choose the best school for their kids, whether it's MPS, a public charter like Carmen, MCP, or Milwaukee Academy of Science, by a 2-to-1 margin. Milwaukee's kids don't have time to wait for politicians to catch up, Democrats or Republicans. On August 11th, vote in the primary for someone who will fight for every Milwaukee child. Learn more at cfcactionfund.org.
Are you looking for a place to shop that offers a fair market price? You need to visit Century Food Store on 92nd and Lisbon Avenue. This week, buy boneless top sirloin steak, $8.99 a pound. Essential everyday purified water, 2 for $7. Frito-Lay baked snacks, dipper salsa, 2 for $6. 1 pound of sweet strawberries, $3.49. Minute Maid zero sugar drinks or Gold Peak tea, 2 for $5. And Stone Ridge Creamery ice cream sandwiches, $3.99. So what you waiting for? You can also order groceries through DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Instacart, or stop by Century Foods at 92nd and Lisbon Avenue today.
Black Arts Fest MKE is back and bigger than ever. Come out Saturday, August 1st at the Summerfest grounds for a full day celebrating Black culture, African heritage, music, art, fashion, food, and family fun. Enjoy live performances from Big E, Hollywood the Classic, Cold Drink, MJ, Star Red, the Lattimore Brothers, and don't miss the headliner, Dave Hollister. Celebrate the foundations of hip-hop with the legendary Boogaloo Shrimp, a.k.a. Turbo from Break It, the Divine Nine Party, a Michael Jackson tribute by Brew City Soul, a gospel music celebration, and the Black Hollywood Experience featuring Jamal Gravy Woolard and Benzino. Compete in the culture contest with a $500 cash prize awarded in the categories of African heritage hairstyles, fashion design, and fine art. Bring the whole family for horse rides, the Kid Zone, a Corvette car and bike show, and more. Tickets are on sale now, plus there are discounts for seniors and youth. Credentialed veterans and kids 7 and under are free. Black Arts Fest MKE, Saturday, August 1st at the Summerfest grounds. Get your tickets now at blackartsfestmke.com. And for more info, follow Black Arts Fest MKE on Facebook.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Some of y'all go get washed, some of y'all just go pop, some of y'all just go talk, but none of y'all ain't really God. Some of y'all just look lost. I get this type of feel you ain't accustomed to.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl Jazz Tyler, and you are officially tapped in. Please make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, 101.7 The Truth. Follow us on social media at 101.7 and the one and only Tap In, which is Tap In MKE on Instagram. We are currently talking about the Nolan Wells case. Prior to me going to break, I was going over the separate autopsy report as well as the situation with the coroner's office in Mississippi. Before we dive back into it, I just want to give a trigger warning as we're talking about this case. Don't want to offend anyone, but I do want to be upfront about the facts due to the fact that we are consistently losing our young black men in situations like this. Shout out to the text line. Marquise G said it was also a man found hung here in Brookfield, Wisconsin last year. Exactly. Yep. I remember that case as well. And a couple of years ago, shout out to Miss Bowden, my old high school teacher, and her daughter, Arsenio Coleman. I remember when her nephew or cousin was found in a similar situation in Illinois a few years back. So again, this is something that we know has been taking place multiple times throughout our generations. It continues to happen, and we have to figure out a way to protect our black boys somehow, some way. So as far as the Nolan Wells case, what we don't know is whether or not he drowned. We don't know if he was conscious when he entered the water. We don't know whether he entered the water voluntarily or was forced, and whether any trauma occurred before entering the water. We also don't know if he had any type of substances such as alcohol or any type of drugs in his system. At this point, there is no medical conclusion that he actually drowned. There is no medical conclusion that he was the victim of homicide as well. Based off of the independent autopsy report, they list the ruling of death as undetermined. When his body arrived from Mississippi, his throat and stomach was missing. They also found red discoloration on the back of his skull, and yet they still ruled him out as at the cause of death as undetermined. One of the things that bothered me the most is the fact that two things. Outside of this happening to him and his family, the fact that when he arrived in D.C., that he had two major internal organs missing, right? These are the very things that would have been able to determine if there was any type of injury to his throat, if he had indeed taken any type of substances. And again, this goes back to allegedly the young man that he was hanging around used hard drugs, which came from a source, which came from someone who used to hang around Nolan and these young men as well. And they stated that they used hard drugs and that they believed that they had given him some type of substance. And if you go back and listen to the video that circulated online of him saying, hey, I don't want to get in the water. Hey, I'm going to die. It almost sounds like he's not in his right mind. Not just because he's fearful, but it just sounds like something is happening. And then you hear them mocking him. And you hear them making monkey noises and telling him he's crying for his mom and all of this nonsense, right? It was super uncomfortable to listen to, but it couldn't have been more uncomfortable than whatever was going through Nolan's mind during that time. As we talk about the coroner's office in Mississippi as well, one of the things that I ran across on social media, I'm not quite sure if it is valid or not, but I do plan to dig a little bit more. Apparently the woman who is over the coroner's office in Mississippi has never ruled any situation similar to this with black men as a homicide, which in my personal opinion means that she has been paid off, right? That there is a cover up. Again, we talked about it. A lot of times in this system, we know that the judges, the lawyers, the DA's office, the sheriff, the coroner's office, all of them are friends, right? They're all friends. They're all going to do whatever it is that needs to be done in order to protect one another.
And if they're not friends, they're neighbors.
Exactly. And if they're not friends, they are neighbors. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. And that's exactly how some of them look at situations like this. Hey, they're college buddies. They probably sitting around having a regular conversation and some drinks. No thought put into it, which is very disheartening, but it is the hard truth. Also, authorities in Mississippi continues to describe this investigation as active. Officials have previously said they have found no initial evidence of foul play, but stress that this investigation remains ongoing. Now, as far as new developments, GPS data from the boat has reportedly become a part of the investigation. Attorney Ben Crump says he expects the completed investigation to ultimately be reviewed by a grand jury once evidence is assembled. A reward remains available for information that helps resolve the case, and the Wells family continues to call for a full and transparent investigation. The GPS data from the boat is going to be a game changer, because this is going to determine whether or not if Nolan was actually murdered at the judge's house and they transported his body to the river, or if he indeed was murdered in the river, allegedly. This is going to determine all of the above. If I'm not mistaken, by the time they received Nolan's phone, in which he didn't have either, there were messages that were removed and deleted, right? So they need to pull phone records. They need to pull this GPS data. They need to pull everything that they can, footage, whatever it is that needs to be done. They need to do it, right? And they need to do it fast. I would even go so far as pulling the phone records from the parents' phones, right? I don't understand how so many people was present and they have all of this footage and people are holding on to the footage, or there are people who are not releasing this information to the family and or to law enforcement. The more videos that come out, the more you see that they indeed were not the only ones on that island. That is heartbreaking. That is heartbreaking to know that he was there around not just the people he came with, but other citizens of that city, of that town. There were numerous of people who were present. And you're telling me that no one seen anything? No one? Other than the people who stated that they were his friend, and allegedly they weren't, because his mom said she had never met them. And then there's this gentleman, a black gentleman, got to be in his mid-40s, who decided to go down to Mississippi for whatever reason to get the friend's side of the story. The best friend who apparently had never been to Nolan's house. I don't know about y'all, but I don't have any best friends who's never been to my mama's house or my house. I don't know what type of best friend that is. That doesn't even sound right, right? But there were more than just that group of people who were around Nolan when this situation happened, right? That makes the case that more interesting, because in small towns like this, we all know that certain groups of people stick together. And if something indeed was happening and there were a multitude of people who were witnessing this, that means that they all are guilty. They all are guilty. I'm not talking about just the alleged murder part, but everything that happened leading up to that point. Everything that happened leading up to that point where they say that they were arguing and someone heard or had footage of them arguing, right? Everything that happened, someone was there to witness it. And in the fact that they refuse to come forward and say anything for whatever reason, listen, God got a way of making people, putting that karma on you. I promise you. I don't care. There is nobody in this world who can instill fear in any human being more than the higher power. So to those people, you need to do whatever it is you need to do, however you need to do it, to make sure that this young man and his family seeks and receives the proper justice. You are guilty, and I pray that you can't sleep at night. I pray that it bothers you so much to where you can't eat. We have a caller on the line. Brother Love, are you there?
Oh, hey, Jazz. How you doing today? You on fire today.
Man, listen, this is, as a mother who has a young black man, for a son, this is something, even if I didn't, this is something that we all, need to talk about, because it's not just happening with Nolan, it's happening across the board.
Yes, and you're right, Jazz. That's why I broke up with my girl. She had a 15-year-old, 11-year-old, and the 15-year-old put down the blunt, and the 11-year-old picked it up, hit it, and I'm like, well, why are you letting these kids do this? And
are you there, Brother Love?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to, on the Noah case, I'm sorry that happened, Jazz. I apologize. I'm just sorry that happened. And what effect does what effect does that have on other young black men? What, should we be afraid? Because I'm afraid to die.
Honestly, I feel like, again, you have Nolan Wells, you have the young man in Illinois who was gang raped by his friends at a rave in the woods by the cabins and was found deceased the next day. You have the young man a couple of years ago who went to the Riverwalk with his girlfriend who was white, and he was a black young man from Milwaukee who ended up deceased. You have the young man in Mississippi who was found hanging outside of the festival a couple of weeks ago. You have the young man last year who was found hanging from a tree in Brookfield, Wisconsin. You have Nolan Wells. This has happened so many times and continue to happen, not to mention all of the cases that happened during our ancestors' generation, our parents' generation, and even this generation that we are not familiar with. Our young black men need to be aware of who they're around, whether they're white or black or Hispanic or Asian, whatever. Always teach your children to be mindful about who they are around, especially those who are who come from a different culture or a different neighborhood, primarily because everyone was not raised the same. This breaks my heart, because growing up, we were not taught to treat our friends this way. We were not taught, if we really called someone our friends, those were not his friends. Those were not his friends. And I don't know Nolan. I didn't know him. I don't know what was inside of him to make him feel like he had to fit in or that he had to be a part of that group. But I promise you, I wish somebody would have told him that he didn't need to. I'm sure there was red flags. I'm sure there were things that they said in a jokingly manner that he overlooked because of his heart. Sometimes when we overlook things because of our heart, it ends up where we end up in situations that we don't want to be in. And I apologize for stumbling over my words, but I'm telling you, this is so near and dear to my heart because it keeps happening. And it's like, why do our babies have to go through this? And it's always the babies who have the big hearts, right? We're talking about the Nolan Wells case. We want to hear your thoughts and opinions on this case. 833-212-1017. Do not touch that dial. At the 5 o'clock hour, we have special guest Jacob Lattimore. He will be joining us virtually. And at the 6 o'clock hour, we have special guest Darius Miles, who will be joining us virtually as well. We got to go to break to pay some bills. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler.
Here's the deal. We got to set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We got to make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day, when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. Improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to healthcare and nutritious food for their tables. Where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support. And where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
Pull up in motorcades. I got a show today. It's all I'm trying to do. Hustle and motivate.
101.7 in Truth. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. Thank you so much for tapping in with us. Be sure tomorrow to tune in to the morning show with Homer Blow and Bailey Coleman, as well as Sherwin Hughes. The lunch break with my good brother Ray Nitty Shannon, and then the Grapevine with Manon as well. We are currently talking about the case of Nolan Wells. Again, this is a trigger warning for those who may be sensitive to this topic. I do apologize. But again, as a mother who have a young black male as a son and just a pillar in the community, I find it very, very important for me to utilize this platform to talk about this because it continues to happen. Before we went to break, we were talking about some of the facts pertaining to the case. What's confirmed is that the independent autopsy report has been completed. The cause of death remains undetermined. The manner of death remains undetermined. Official Mississippi autopsy and toxicology report have not yet been released. Investigations remain active. What we don't know is whether or not Nolan drowned. We don't know if any foul play occurred, whether any injury caused or contributed to his death. And the next major developments are expected to be the release of the state's autopsies finding, the toxicology report, and any additional investigation conclusions. We have a caller on the line. Mike, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Jazzy. Yet again, it looked like these white boys are going to get away with murder, and it's a sad thing because it was foul play. But our young brothers got to get away from this thing and hanging out with these white boys thinking that they're friends and they're the only one. Now, if he had another buddy with him, it would have been 2 against 3 in case an altercation would have came out. And I think we would have probably came out on top on that one. 2 against 3, 2 brothers against 2 white boys. It's touching me because my sister got a daughter and they live way out in Germantown, and she hang out with the white girls. And she's the only one. She went down to Summerfest with them for some concert. They talked her into paying $170 for a ticket. She's only 18 years old. How are you spending that much money on a concert ticket?
Yes.
Now, another one of the girls looked like she was black mixed with white, but the other girls, the other 3 were white. And then my sister said, yes, she normally hangs out with white girls. So, she needs to get out of that because that's not a winning situation if something goes down because they're going to take the side of their friends, and then she's the only one, just like the Nolan case.
Absolutely.
We know what happened.
Absolutely.
We know what happened, but they're going to get away with this. And this is sad. That Brookfield thing, that was a summer or 2 ago, wasn't it?
Yes, that was last year.
Never heard of that again.
Yes, that was last year.
Never heard of that again.
Yep.
And they always say it's either an accident or we committed suicide. Ain't no brother hung himself like that.
Come on now.
And they keep coming with that.
It's an insult to even assume that our people would utilize that as a form of suicide, given the history.
So I stay on my sister to tell her to have her. Well, she's got a job now and stuff, so maybe that could occupy most of her time, hopefully. But it's not a winning situation when it's 4 or 5 against 1.
Absolutely.
And then what you say something about their marketing and stuff like that?
So
I never was a jokester.
Yeah, there was a video that was circulating where they were making monkey noises and telling him he was calling for his mom, and you can hear him say, "I'm going to die. I don't want to do it." Da 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 da. And again, you can hear how frightened he was, but to me, it just sounded like he was not in his right frame of mind.
That just remind me when I went up there with Tory Lowe about the kid that was kicking it in that barn with some white kids, and they was about to throw him in a meat grinder.
Yes.
So, keep up the good work, Jazzy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tapping in. Shout out to the chat. Madi says that Nolan's mom says she is not apologizing for not raising her son to be racist. Racist people less likely to be victims of these types of crimes. So to that point, Madi, my take on that is this. First and foremost, racism is a system. And I think the term she is referring to is being prejudiced, right? And if you look back at the history of black people in particularly, we don't have a prejudice. Naturally, we don't have a prejudice bone in our body. All we do, we are the original beings. This is fact. This is in history books. Everybody know that. We help everyone. We don't have a prejudice naturally bone inside of our bodies. our heart is big. Not everyone, but majority of us. We're talking about how we start out. We're talking about genetics, right? We are naturally caring people. When we're put inside of environments that causes oppression, that's when you begin to see a different side of us. At the end of the day, it's okay for your child, if you feel it's okay for them to have friends of different races. What's not okay is when you don't educate them. What's not okay is when you don't educate them to understand that they don't have the privilege that certain ethnicities have. You go wrong when you don't educate them about what a real friend is. A lot of times, and I touched on this last week, a lot of times we say, hey, I just want my child to be safe. I don't want them to live in the inner city. I want them to be in a suburban area, to go to a private school, to be around children who may not look like them. When in all actuality, those schools are just as bad, if not worse. You're going to get some violence in the inner city, but all you're going to get is kids that's smoking weed and probably doing other things they shouldn't be doing. But one thing's for sure and two things for certain. When it comes to our people, we take pride in being loyal to our friends. And again, that term should not be used in this case because they were not his friends. And the fact that I don't know how often or how much his parents was in his business, but I have a 19-year-old, a 9-year-old, and an 18-year-old, and I stay in all of their business. I don't care how old I'm not going to stop being your mother no matter how old you get. Every day of your life, you are their parent. Your job is to be that parent. Stay in your children's business, right? That's why it doesn't matter what religion you are. I'm going to quote the Bible when it says to honor thy mother and thy father. Why? Because we have discernment. We're able to tell when something is not right. You've ever been in a situation and you say, hey, I don't like that friend. Ma, you don't even know them. I don't got to know them. I feel it. Something is off about them, right? The fact that these are young men who constantly say, hey, that was my best friend, but they never been to his mama house. They never been to his home. Come on, miss me with that. That's not a friend, let alone a best friend. We have to do a better job at teaching our children what it means to be a young black boy or a young lady in this country. Again, you can decide and dictate who it is that you want to have a friendship with. But one thing's for sure and two things for certain. You better have the correct information about who you are so that when you are traveling throughout a place like a Mississippi, given the history, you understand fully what you're up against. You understand that, guess what? We can be cool right now, baby. But if my back against the wall, I know that you don't got me. You're going to ride with your people. That's the reality. I don't care how many of y'all, my kids hang around white kids, Hispanic kids, and at the end of the day, if it's you or me, it's me, baby. That's how it goes. And to Security Mike's point, he should have had another one of his friends there, someone who looks like him, to say, hey, this situation ain't situationing. We got to get on up out of here, right? Speaking of getting up out of here, we got to go to break because we have a special guest who will be joining us at 5 o'clock, Jacob Lattimore. And at the 6 o'clock hour, we have special guest Darius Miles. Do not touch that dial, Milwaukee. We will be back. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your families tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds. Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Milwaukee Black Talk lives here on 101.7 FM and 1510 AM, W269DL Milwaukee, and WGKB Waukesha.
I wanna talk about you.
If you can hear me, can you turn your camera on so I know you're connected?
I wanna try some new things like your body on me. Baby, don't it feel good? Don't have to keep it low key. Don't shake it like a loose change in your frame. Make it say you we. You say that I'm just your type. True. This is one hell of a night.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct, and we have a special guest in the building, Milwaukee's own Jacob Lattimore. You may have seen him on Black Nativity, Ride Along, Detroit House Party, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and of course our favorite TV show, The Chi. It is truly an honor to be able to interview you, Jacob. We always are rooting for you, and thank you so much for joining us today. How are you? It's okay. Yeah, I can't hear it, so that's fine. How are you doing? Yes. Yeah, I was watching the last episode that I watched. They went through the journey of when you guys first started and looking back at how young you were, and then thinking about even before you got on the Chi, how young you look. But just to see you grow with that storyline was simply amazing. I'm actually kind of sad. I'm sad that the show is ending, but it was a good run.
Yeah. We all feeling it. We feeling it. We all got so much footage. We can't wait to just post online. After the last episode dropped, it was just a big celebration. You know what I mean? It was like, Chicago's home for us, and we just forever stamped.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when I start my shows, Jacob, I like to, because we have this platform and we all know how Milwaukee can be, I like to give out positive affirmations. So my
Right.
positive affirmation for today is I love myself. And I say that because I want the people who are listening to tell themselves that as well. What is your daily affirmation for today?
Daily affirmation. I don't, maybe I need to work on my affirmations, but I just kind of submit to God and just, kind of just get that thanks and just super grateful,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
waking up every day. That's I always say, God, thank you for waking me up today. I know somebody didn't wake up today.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for that. So let's hop right into it. We all know that you are from Milwaukee. We are very familiar with your family. Shout out to your mom and your dad and your uncles, who are also pillars from Milwaukee as well. Being someone who grew up in a town that is not necessarily received as bigger cities, what was it like to carry Milwaukee with you throughout your entire career?
It's been incredible. I mean, like, can you still hear me?
Yep.
Okay. It's been incredible. Just to be always remember where I come from. You know what I mean? I think even just playing the Shy was just a humbling experience, just to kind of be back in that Midwest just energy, and just looking back, man, I just remember being in the living room and just imagining audiences and imagining myself. I think acting came a little bit later once I moved to Atlanta, but um, I just remember like manifesting and trying to see it before it was even a thing. I'm performing to couches and pillows, and it turned into audiences and it turned into YouTube and it turned into putting myself out there, and then just it turned into not being afraid to look silly or feel funny or be judged. You know what I mean? And that's some tough skin you got to deal with at a young age. Performing at schools and different boys and girls clubs, and and you're dealing with a lot of opinion on just your art. And being able to take it and just keep moving forward. So it's been incredible, and I'm super grateful for my family. They were a great example. I remember seeing limousines pulling up on 41st and Fond du Lac,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And just like watching them go to LA and do that thing. And also learning a lot from just seeing when things don't always go your way, how it could affect you mentally, and how you got to deal with that. You got to deal with life in a way where, okay, my dreams didn't fully fulfill, but now I gotta take a curve and go into acting. I gotta go into hosting, go into speaking, being open to the other things. So life just got so many different curves when you got such a passion for your dreams.
Absolutely. So, pivoting into acting and film, oftentimes some of the actors I know with certain roles state that they find it difficult to shake back. Right, like there's almost like a identity crisis or issues like that. But every film and every show I've watched you play in, you have remained yourself. How do you manage to keep your sanity, but also stick to your identity when you're taking on new roles?
That's probably the toughest part about acting. You really got to leave yourself outside of that room. When they say action, it's like it's you it's you're fully immersed in the character. Even with the Shy, there's been times I'm like, well, why would he say this? And
Yeah.
then they're like, well, it's because we trying to take the show here. We want the themes to be here. We want to keep it a certain positivity,
Mhm.
throughout the show. And I'm like, okay, so you just learning the magic of storytelling. You can really take the story wherever you want to go,
Yes.
and you have to as an actor, you got to really lock in and say, "Hey, this is not Jacob Lattimore today.
Mhm.
This is Emmett. This is whatever character you playing." And when they say cut, it's hard to stamp out of it, depending on the role. I mean, Emmett was I put a little bit of myself into Emmett just
Yeah.
because it was just a young dude from like the Midwest, but a film like Gully, where I play a kid named
Yeah.
Calvin. He's just super schizophrenic, and he just sort of
Yeah.
like he'll ticking time bomb, and he'll pop off at any moment. Those are things I may have seen, but that's something you got to really go method for. Where it's like
Yes.
even if they say cut, you're still in that mode when you get back home because you got 2 more months of filming, and you don't. And when by the time they say action, you want to be great. Because once it's
Yes.
out at the film festivals and the theaters, it's up, and now the critics are judging and the fans are judging.
Absolutely. And Gully was one of outside of the other films, the bigger films, Gully and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I feel like is when we got to see the diversity in your acting career. I was not expecting the Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
because I don't like to see my people die at the end. I didn't like it,
Hey, you
but
know what? I was definitely trying to shoot for, like, I was like, y'all could have the first black man survive
yeah.
in Texas Chainsaw.
Yes,
You
like
know,
come on, make history.
yeah,
But it showed your
yeah.
diversity. So I remember the first time I seen you, I remember, I don't know, I think you were like 11 or 12, but your mom had brought you to perform at this spot. It was an award show for Core DJ LA. And you were so little when you were singing, and then she moved you to Atlanta, and then you started to get into the acting and things of that nature. What were some of the
Yeah.
sacrifices from your point of view, as well as setbacks that took place during that pivot from not only transitioning from Milwaukee to Atlanta, but transitioning from music to film?
Um, I think it was really, I mean, being homeschooled was one. You know, I came to Atlanta and I was, I wasn't in public school. You know, when I was on sets, and you got to get like 3 hours. I think for a young kid, you got to get like 3 hours in a day on set for like contractually or something like that. And then whatever hours you miss out on, you got to make up for those hours. And so that was a new routine. So I always wanted to make sure I stayed social. Where
Yeah.
I was like going to Cascade every weekend, just like and just trying to stay social, trying to stay sane. And then it was, for me, it was just like, this is what I wanted. I wanted
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? It's different when you want it versus being forced into it. And like, I was making sure I was getting up every day and working out and rehearsing and doing my warm-ups and going to acting classes and watching my favorite movies. So, there's a drive you gotta have before your
Yes.
team can even do anything. No one on your team should be outworking you. You should,
Absolutely.
in that downtime, even just here at home, I'm watching more movies. I'm practicing writing scripts. I'm auditioning. I'm getting up. I did 3 miles this morning on a treadmill. Like, it's like everything is.
Yeah.
The work don't stop when you get back home. You gotta put yourself back in a routine, even when they say cut.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, is it safe to say the musical influences that you had around you, such as your father and your uncles, as well as your amazing mom, were they the people who made you feel like, you know what, I do want to do this based off of you watching their journey?
Absolutely. Yeah, just seeing my mom go back and forth from Chicago. She was like, she was bringing like B2K into the city and making sure they get to the radio station, to the hotel, to the
Yeah.
show, and watching her do the label work, and then watching my dad on the artist side, watching the limousines pull up to the hood, and they go off to LA, and I'm seeing the music videos, I'm seeing concerts, I'm seeing footage, and even then, at that point, even when you watching it, there's something still you gotta have deep inside of you to say, I want to take that even further,
Absolutely.
because like I said, it's like my dad and my uncles, they reached a point, and I think over time it was just, it's like, the industry can discourage you, and that's
Yes.
that's real. I've been through it, even just transitioning from music to film. It was a real decision to say, you know what, I'm gonna take a break from the studio for a minute and really just
Hmm.
lock in on these scenes, because it's like, I always say there's so many different hats you got to wear as you're getting older.
Yes.
You got to wear your artist passion hat, and then you also just got to be a grown man and say, hey, this is what's cash flowing.
Yes.
This is what the bills got to get paid.
Yep.
And as you love music and you want to keep doing it, but you know that this isn't gonna secure the lifestyle that you want at the time, and you gotta roll with the punches that God is aligning
Yes.
for you, and you can do it all. And I think that it took me a while to kind of snap out of just, oh, I'm just Jacob Lattimore, the music star. No, I'm Jacob Lattimore, the music star. I can speak, I can host, I
Yep.
can I can act, I can work out, I can do content, I can be an influencer, I could be a streamer if I decided, and I
Yes.
think all those things you have to be open to as you're getting older, and the world is changing and the industry's changing, and that's that takes a lot of courage to say, hey, I'm open to all the things and I want to learn more about it.
Absolutely. So what I gather from that is hold yourself accountable and be real with yourself, right? Be real and authentic with yourself to properly be in alignment with whatever it is that God has from you. A lot of times people don't keep it 100 with themselves, and that's why they aren't successful. We are talking with Milwaukee's own legendary Jacob Lattimore. We want to hear from you, 833-212-1017. We got to go to break to pay some bills. Do not touch that dial. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler.
I'm Sherwin Hughes, and I know the power of Stars and Stripes Honor Flight firsthand. As someone who's been on an honor flight, I can tell you it's a day you'll never forget. Stars and Stripes Honor Flight gives our oldest veterans who served in any location in June of 1975 or earlier a free one-day trip to Washington, D.C. for veterans. Airfare, meals, a coach bus tour, and special flight apparel are all included. It's a day of honor, gratitude, and camaraderie. Veterans who served in the Vietnam or Korean War go to flysshf.org and ask for an application.
In Milwaukee County, equity means making sure everyone has a real chance to thrive. That's why the Milwaukee County Office of Equity works to help remove barriers, strengthen community connections, and support fair access to opportunities across Milwaukee County. Want to learn what they do, explore resources, or find ways to get involved? Just search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online. Milwaukee County Office of Equity, advancing equity for all Milwaukee County residents. For more information, search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Race to the finish line. I finally met somebody more my speed. Do you really think I could have seen it in your eyes? Girls always trying to take it by surprise.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct, and we have a special guest in the building, Milwaukee's own Jacob Lattimore. Jacob, thank you again so much for joining us this evening. So we talked about what it means to represent Milwaukee wherever you go. We also talked about your journey as far as transitioning from an entertainer into film. I want to talk about The Chi just a little bit, primarily because I feel like your role as Emmett is something that is extremely relatable, not even just to anyone, but specifically for a lot of young men in Milwaukee. Like when I watch the show from beginning to end and see how you evolved, even from Darnell, right? We all know got an uncle or a father like that. But let's talk about the cultural impact that The Chi has had. How do you feel it resonates with Black audiences today?
It's different. You know, it's I think especially with The Chi, we already know the stigma it had or it has in the news. You know, it's just shoot 'em up, gun violence, gang banging, and all that. And I think what I love about our show is that, yeah, our show maybe tells a little bit of that story, but we actually really, when you come see our show, it's not really it's not super thugged out all the time. You know, we talking about family, we talking about forgiveness, we talking about healing, we talking about men's circles, women's circles, we talking about having what what conversations could look like. I've seen some of the controversy of like, oh, I wouldn't even say that. Wow, this ain't realistic, but
Yeah.
that's the beauty of storytelling, to say, hey, let's not fight about it. Let's actually create a scene where this looks like love, and this
Absolutely.
doesn't look like fighting. This doesn't look like violence. Like, this actually looks like an embrace moment between two characters. And it challenges us as actors to be like, all right, Jacob wouldn't react like that, but Emmett and the writers want to create a scene where it's like, no, let's create Emmett in a way where he's showing love to his baby mothers. He's showing love to his kids.
Yes.
He's showing love to the blended family. And it's not forget you, forget me. It's like, no, I love everybody, and I embrace everybody, and everybody has had a voice on this show. And I think that's what made our show so unique. It's so many different characters. Black people, we are so vast. We're not just one
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
and that's what people love about our show. That's why they keep coming back, and it's hard to manage too. It's like we got 40 actors, maybe 10 series regulars, and certain if you got a guest starring contract, you may get booked somewhere else. So we got to put
Yep.
you in witness protection or a funeral. You know what I'm saying? And people are like, where does character go? And that actor's got he's busy, or she's busy making some money on another project. So we gotta put that character in the back burner for a while, and until their schedule opens up. And it's been magic though. It's been also a melting pot really for veteran actors like Lynn Whitfield
Yes.
and Rolando and Yolanda to come in and then work with these new young fresh actors who this is their first projects. And it's been a real blessing. I think we're even like, oh wow, this is how big it is now that this ending. We're seeing the
Yes.
impact because we be on set locking in. We're not outside as much, so to see the fans really reacting, or when we step out for a radio show and they want to bring us out on stage and the whole arena is just losing their mind, and we getting chased down the
Yes.
hallways at the Chris Brown shows, and we just like, yo, this is bigger than what we imagined.
Yeah, it's so a couple things I want to touch on. I love the fact that the roles you pick aren't roles that is too far fetched from who you truly are. I love the fact that Emmett really, when you go back, Emmett was a hustler. He was selling shoes, doing whatever he needed to do at such a young age to take care of his child. And I know it's probably sound weird talking like this as a character, but I just want to break it down for context purposes, right? The way that you guys flipped the average Black family household and you turned it into a positive. Instead of it being messy, you hustled to do what you have to do. Your mama made you keep your children, right? To take care of it and become a man. And it can look messy, like, hey, your ex-wife is paying for his friends with your new wife and paying for the wedding. But when you have healthy communication and dialogue, those things matter. So I just wanted to big you and the entire cast up for portraying Black families in the way that you all have. My next question to you is, how has the role of playing Emmett influenced you personally and professionally?
For me, I look at Emmett's life and I'll be like, man, like I'll get back home and this house is quiet and it's just me. and then I'll look at Emmett's life and I'll say, man, like, for 4 kids, if I remember 3-4 kids, and just baby mamas, and just I'm like, whew. And I had to think about my life. Like, I was homeschooled at 11, 12, my first gig when I was 11. And I want to say it almost maybe playing the character, I almost felt a little bit unrelatable as Jacob,
Yeah.
and it kind of scared me a little bit. I was like, dang, I haven't really been through certain things and it's fortunately, because we should be able to be successful at a young age, but it kind of put me in a space of like, do I know how to work a chicken shop? Do I know like the cash register? Like all these little
Yeah.
things start going through
Yeah.
my head as I'm playing this role, and I'm like, baby mama, I'm like, I don't even know how to rock a baby to sleep for real. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not even thinking about kids in my personal life. It was so many things that were just hitting me as as this show goes on, and I feel like I was just learning so much. Like I was calling fathers. I'm like, hey, what age should you start talking to your son about sex? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or certain things, or like, I don't know. Or what should a father say? How do you become a better? What is it really like living with your girlfriend? You know
Yes.
what I mean? All those things really kind of hit me in a way where it's like, man, my life is so opposite, and it just made me want to just dig and study and look at some of my favorite shows, and why the Shy is even here, Soul Food, and
Yes.
look at all these grounding shows that The Wire that really bring this rawness that you just gotta it's gotta be in you a little bit. You have to almost
Absolutely.
experience it just a little bit in order to really play it. So it's been a wild journey of just learning on the spot, really. You know what I mean? I think I was kind of nervous about it, but it all worked out for the greater good, really, because I'm supposed to be a young father figuring it out, and that's how I'm supposed
Yes.
to feel on the screen.
Yes, and you know what? And I know you probably hear it all the time, but you have done an amazing job. Now that this
Thank you.
show is coming to an end, you didn't skip a beat. Every role, every scenario, every situation. It's truly a show that I enjoy watching, and I feel like it should be some awards or something coming for real, because the way that you transition into your manhood, and again, you kill it. You be killing it. We got to go to the chat.
Thank you.
Marie Valor says,
Thank you.
"Hi Jazz, I have been Team Jacob since childhood, and watching you, Jacob, progress over the years has me truly in awe. I would like to know how the transition has been for you letting go of Emmett."
Ooh, it's tough. I feel I kind of I thank God that I had a lot of experiences before I landed a successful television show like Maze Runner and Collateral Beauty and all these different projects where I was able to see what it feels like to be a part of something, and then boom, you on to the next. And
Yes.
then boom, you on to the next. Now you're looking for the next part. So uh the Shy definitely hits different because it was 8 years of my life, but in between those seasons, we didn't know if we was gonna get renewed. So I had the
Yes.
same mindset right after season one. I had the same mindset after season two. Like, oh, I don't know, we could go season three, but the article ain't came out. I ain't got an email from my agents yet. We know we got options in the contract, but things can change. So it's always just kind of being on your toes and always thinking 10 steps ahead. And not playing Emmett is almost like it's almost routine. I'm already doing auditions, and like I'm already kind of off of it right now.
Yeah,
we letting the
yeah.
fans kind
We
of feel
not
it as
ready to
well.
let it go.
Yeah, like we feeling it, but it's like we already. I was just talking to one of the castmates, the kid that played Bakari, Ahmad. He's like, yeah, I'm on the way to audition right now. Like they don't know. Like we on to the next. Right after they say
Yeah.
cut, we got to go to the next project, and you don't really have time to feel.
Yes.
You just got to move on.
So we have a question
Yeah.
from the text line. Marquise G, he says, can you ask Mr. Jacob Lattimore, can we expect any new music? And if so, who is it that he wants to work with?
New music. I'm not. Honestly, I'm not really in a rush to drop another album. I definitely want to maybe start working on a JL2.
Yeah.
I think it was a good look for me to drop music last year, just
Yep.
because it was just like a timing thing that I feel like it was right on point. And I fund all my music, so when I look at this, I'm when you invest in, you start having an investor mindset. You're like,
Yeah.
I don't know, the
Make
numbers ain't
it, the
numbering
math
right
ain't
now.
math.
We need to hey, we still promoting the first album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I definitely want to do more content. I feel like the album still has a lot of legs.
Yeah, absolutely. I
And I
believe
think,
so too.
yeah,
I
and I
believe so
think
too.
what people don't realize, it's like it's about marketing dollars, towards your album, and that's what really helps.
Absolutely. We got Jacob Lattimore in the building. When we come back, we're going to tap into his influences. Who has he worked with here in the city that has had an impact on his life? We want to hear from you. 833-212-1017. Do not touch that dial. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. Milwaukee, get ready. 101.7 The Truth Family Fest is back. Join us Saturday, August 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Riverside University High School for free back-to-school resources, live entertainment, family activities, and community fun. Vendors and sponsors can reserve a spot by visiting truthfamilyfest.com or by reaching out to Sierra, Cierra, .brown at MilwaukeeBlackMedia.com. Hey, Milwaukee, we have Milwaukee's own Jacob Lattimore in the building. Well, not in the building, he's virtual, but same difference. Thank you so much, Jacob, for joining us this evening.
Hey,
I truly appreciate you being here. Before we went to break, I was tapping into some influences. This particular person made a huge influence in my career and in my life. And I want to ask you about how impactful Homer Blow has been in your career, in your life.
Yeah, just seeing him do him and watching my grandmother, just kind of work alongside him as a kid, and just like, seeing different celebrities coming in and out of that building, and how he handled interviews and how he handled celebrities made people feel good when they came to Milwaukee. Just seeing that as a kid, it was another moment where it was like, this is what I'm gonna do.
Yes.
Like if it was another confirmation of, oh man, like I can enter different cities and different radio stations and be promoting my album or my movie or, whatever I'm promoting. It was just impactful to see that and be in that space. It was just another space in entertainment that I know that's a part of the work.
Yep.
So it was dope. Shout out to
Absolutely.
Homer.
Absolutely. Who has been the biggest influential person in your life? Not just someone who walked you into a room or someone who gave you a role, but who is that person that keeps you grounded or that told you that you can be whatever it is you want it to be?
To this day, my grandfather, my grandfather Lattimore, just I think early on, before even music was a thing, it was just he instilled faith into me. He said, "Boy, we're gonna
Yeah.
put that suit on
Yes.
and we're gonna head to church."
I know
He
that's
said, "That
right.
gift you got, all that dancing around you be doing, that come from the Lord."
He said,
And
"Let
then
Pawpaw get you
I've
together."
been carrying that ever since, and I bring my Bible to the trailers. Like if it's a short trip, it's in that bag. It's in my book bag.
Yes.
So
Yes.
faith has just been the foundation of everything, every room I walk into.
Absolutely, absolutely. Speaking of your grandfather, how important is legacy to you? What does success look like today compared to when it first started, and how do you hope people remember your career?
Um, I just hope people just remember that I just went for it and I wasn't afraid, even if I was afraid, I just did it anyway, and I
Yes,
wasn't afraid to be me and and do what God has called me to do. Everybody got that thing in their heart and their soul and their mind where God is leading them to do certain things. Even if you have a dream, God is like, all right, I'm not gonna take away that dream, but I also got more for you. And
absolutely.
I always wanted to be just a spokesman for that, of just like really listen to what God wants you to do. God's playing our mind. Plugging the album, JL album out right now. That was an important one for me to put on the album, because it's just a real testament to life.
Yes,
You'll create vision boards every year. You'll create these ideas of where you see your life going and career and your personal life, but God really got it all laid out for you. And if you can tune in your ear to Him, life just becomes a lot easier, I think.
absolutely, absolutely. While we're on the subject, because now you're talking my language, I am real big on alignment, and I teach my students this too as well. Being able to sit in solitude, not isolation, but being able to sit in solitude so that you can properly receive whatever it is that God is trying to tell you. What are some of the things that you do in order to stay in line? And as it pertains to the youth, how important is it to be in alignment?
It's extremely important. I mean, life is already, super stressful with ups and downs. So you need a savior. You
Yes.
need a savior. Like, you need a routine in the morning as well. I think for me personally is getting into my word in the morning, journaling my prayers, and getting on that treadmill in the gym. That those are my three things to do every morning. Once I knock those out, I feel pretty accomplished
Yeah.
throughout the day, that I can do anything through, after that. Once I check list those off, because those, to me, those are the primal state of just being human. Talking to
Absolutely.
God, writing, and exercise. And I feel like once you do that, your blood is pumping, you in a positive mood about where the day could even take you. And then from that point, you like, God, show me what to do today.
Hmm.
And I think, I definitely want my young homies and peers to just stay tuned into what God has for you, because you can miss your window.
Yes.
And it's like, that's just like one of the worst feelings ever. And I never want to miss my window.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when it comes to acting, we know that it is an extremely difficult industry to get in, especially when you come from a city like Milwaukee. What advice do you have to the youth, or anyone for that matter, who is attempting to join the film industry?
It's such a different landscape from where I started. Like, I remember when I was going to Elm Elementary over there, I would, right after school, I would go to First Stage. I believe First Stage is still going on in
Yeah,
Milwaukee.
I believe
Um,
so. Yeah, first
yeah.
stage.
Okay. Yeah. I was definitely in there, just getting my rounds in. I think people see a show like The Shy, or or some whatever show they love, and they'll say, "Well, I want to be an actor,"
Mhm.
but didn't really do the work yet, you
Yeah.
know. And you got to ask yourself, do I want to be popular? Do I want to be an actor? Because there's a lot of acting you could do. It may not be the big money that you want right now, but theater is a great way to start. Most of the shy
Yes.
cast come from plays. Rolando, who plays my Darnell, plays. Burgundy plays. And I'm working with seasoned actors who have been on stage, and you don't get another take on stage.
Come
You can't
on.
say what's my line,
Yep.
and so by the time you get that TV opportunity, you're fully equipped and ready. And yeah, I think though, really got to put in the groundwork, that the things people don't see. I posted something on my YouTube just last week, or I'm not last week, just a couple days ago. Just like, yo, this is what they don't see. I'm actually at home. I'm not partying. I'm
Yeah.
only stepping out to the club if I'm getting paid. It's certain things you gotta make sacrifices for. You like, no, I'm not eating that because I want to look like this on screen.
Yeah.
And just every little detail matters at that point.
Yeah, I know. I need to stop eating because I be looking at the screen like, stop
Hey,
eating so
hey,
much.
it happens. It happens. I said in my vlog too. Sometimes, some years I've been a little chunky, and then some years I come in really lean, and I just like, yeah, I'm fully equipped. I'm ready. But I had to give myself grace too, because Emmett is a guy that works at a chicken shop. He's eating fried chicken
Yeah.
all day. When is he
Yep.
working out? So I had to make that relatable too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when we're talking about becoming an actor, I speak about this all the time, professionalism, right? That means for those who are listening, do not send in just any pictures. You need professional headshots. You can't just send an email saying whatever without an introduction. What are some tips you have as far as professionalism? Because we all know how our people can be sometimes.
Time is I have made it a thing. I remember the first season, I was probably running like 30 minutes late to work, and I didn't like that feeling.
Yeah.
I felt that. And especially with film productions, they won't tell you that you was late. They'll just write it down and keep it in a little notepad, and they'll say, "Hey, you know what I mean?" So you
Yeah.
gotta you gotta
Yeah.
show up and be on time. You gotta be serious about your business. So I made it my thing in the past few years to show up hours, maybe a couple hours before my call time. Enjoy my
Yes.
trailer, watch other people work, shadow directors, talk to the writers' room, say what up to sound, say what up to the catering people. Like live in it, like be in
Yes.
it. Like don't shy from it. Don't look at it like, oh, I need to be there. I'll be there when I feel like it, because I've seen careers come and go. I've
Yeah.
worked with some really talented actors that I've worked alongside of, and you just like, man, your opportunities can turn off like a light switch, and it's scary. And it
Absolutely.
makes you want to be more on point. Like, no, I actually need to stop. I need to set a bedtime.
Yeah.
I actually need to start
Discipline.
getting up at 5 a.m. because those are the call times. I'm getting emails like, your call time is 5:30 a.m. and you can't go to bed at 12. You need to
Yep.
go to bed at 9. You know what I mean? And you gotta be afraid. You can't be afraid of missing out on what your friends are doing or how they kicking it, because you gotta make those big boy sacrifices. And it's so much that goes into it. Even just today, like there's more non-union work than union work. So
Yes.
there's so many more opportunities for a young actor or a young creator to present themselves, create a YouTube series. If you're creative enough, you can do it with your iPhone. Like, if you
Yeah.
have just no money, but you know how to do clean push-ins, turnarounds, you know how to create some good dialogue and good
Yep.
conversation. Issa Rae had a YouTube series, then Insecure came. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
it's like there's so many more opportunities just from almost 10 years ago.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are speaking with Milwaukee's own Jacob Lattimore. When we come back, we will wrap this up and continue this conversation. We want to hear from you. 833-212-1017. Do not touch that dial. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler.
Ready to take it back? Join the grand debut of Analog Afternoons at 90s 2K Cafe on Sunday, July 26th, starting at 2. Music kicks off at 4 p.m. with the Cat House Band and DJ Seymour bringing you the biggest hits from the 90s and 2000s. Grab a signature Bloody or a Sunny D Mosa Tower and get jiggy with DJ Saint Trey with special guest host appearance by Action Jackson. 90s 2K Cafe, 1103 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive in Milwaukee. Come press play on your Sunday fun day.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
That's right, that's right, that's right. Yeah.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. I didn't catch Z fast enough. I wanted him to play Selfish, so maybe if I can get up out of here, like we can play Selfish. That's one of my songs, man. So I have some fun questions for you. Whenever you come back home to Milwaukee, what is it that you have to eat that they have nowhere else?
Oh, I feel like maybe we always go to Elsie's. Is it Elsie's car?
Elsie's, yep.
Elsie's. Let me see where else.
That you know
tough.
they took the wings away.
I feel like everybody want to feed me when I come back home too. Everybody want to
Elsa's took the wings away. They took the wings away. They took the wings away. It's a wrap.
Yeah, I gotta find my new spot.
It's a wrap. What is your favorite thing to do when you come back home?
Honestly, just go chill with my grandmother.
Yeah.
I was blessed to have my mom's mom and her mother most of my life, you know. So it's just I try to go see them.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing about Milwaukee?
I think what I love about it is just going back home and actually seeing the block I grew up on, the school I went to. I went to Townsend Elementary School on 42nd and 42nd and Fond du Lac. I think if streets ain't changed, I drove past there and just seeing my school and just seeing remembering all those classroom experiences, which I think those little moments definitely just helped me uh in my acting career at this point, especially with roles like The Shy. And yeah, I think that's definitely just like that's what I love just about just something about seeing where you grew up, like your childhood
Yes.
experiences when I was playing flag football or I'm flipping on the mattresses in the
Yeah.
hood, like
Yep.
all those different things just really bring me back home.
Yes, indeed. Do you get homesick sometimes?
A little bit, a little bit. It's like my homies, and I be want to go out to Element and Prime, and I want to go out to the spots.
Yep.
My
Well,
homies out there doing their thing, so it's just But I'm just I can't complain about anything.
yes, indeed. You said prime, huh? You trying to party
Yeah,
party.
being in Chicago, I
Oh,
definitely
that
snuck up
J.
there a couple of times, and I got back. I had to get back to Chicago right after.
Yeah. So do you find that being in Chicago, like when you're working in Chicago, does it make you want to go home more? Or are you like just comfortable with just sitting there?
It's tough because like it's more of a disciplined choice. It's like of course I want to go just hang out and
Hmm.
but it's just too much on the line.
Yeah.
Especially as your name get bigger.
Yep.
If I got friends back home and I love my family, but they can't come with me everywhere. They get to into it or something. Then Jacob Lattimore got into it last night. And it's like,
We
no, I
know how
didn't.
that
You know what I
go.
mean? So
Yeah.
it's important to know the responsibility and the elements that you walking into.
Absolutely.
And your name getting bigger. It's not me acting funny. It's just me protecting the
The
bag.
brand. Yeah.
Yeah.
As you
Yeah.
should. As you should. Yesterday I was talking about the importance that black women play in a lot of men becoming successful. And those who know you know how much your mom has done and still continues to do. Can you touch on that a
Yeah.
little bit as far as the relationship you got as her with her being your mother and also your manager?
Yeah, I mean, my mom she was during that time, even just still going to elementary school, planning photo shoots, styling me. My mom loves marketing, so that's what she lives for. So she was always just figuring out ways to get flyers done, to get T-shirts done, and then my dad was just making sure I sounded good when I stepped out and performed, because he's just
Yes.
an amazing singer, and so it was just her being all hands in, booking studio time, paying for photo shoots, paying for styling, and just really that hustle and bustle. Like y'all want Jake to perform here? Can Jake perform at this middle school? Can Jake
Hmm.
perform at this school or during that recess time or during that prep rally, whatever it is going on? And shout out to Sincere as well. Sincere was
Yes.
man, he was making sure I was performing wherever he was performing at.
Yeah. I remember those days
So
he was.
yeah. Yeah, it was we were just grinding. Like our goal was to just conquer Milwaukee at that point. We weren't even thinking about the world yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you also touch on there again, there's a lot of aspiring actors and musicians. Can you touch on the importance of the relationship with your manager, especially if it's someone you're related to? Like how do you just give full trust to that person outside of it being your mom, but what is it that make you say, "You know what? I trust you with my career."
I think the big help was just seeing my mom like in it already. I watched her deal with other artists, but at the same time, it doesn't work for everybody. I don't want people to force their parents as managers because
Yeah.
you want, even though they may have your best interest at heart, as a parent, you definitely want to make sure your parents are actually taking time to learn the business because we've seen some other things too, like other moms have come to my mom and say, "Hey, how do you do this?"
Yeah.
And to seek help, to seek guidance. Study the momager's other business.
Yes.
Jason Weaver's mom, Brandy's mother, Beyonce's mom. Like definitely study who conquered it and did it. But if it's not in your mom or if it's not in your dad, like definitely try to get around some mentors. And I try to look online all the time. I always say you don't have to meet your mentors. Your
Yeah.
mentors, especially with technology, your mentors are one DM and one email away.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, a couple of years ago, shout out to Mayor Johnson, I requested a proclamation for Jacob to have his own day, primarily because you deserve it. Not just to give you an accolade, but you are one of the few, if the only person from the city that genuinely comes back. You're still deep rooted here. What plans do you have for your birthday coming up, and how old is you turning?
30. Big 30.
Oh, welcome to the 30
Yeah.
club.
You know what's so funny about 30? It's like I feel so. Somebody asked me, "What you want for your 30th birthday?" And I was just like, honestly, like I just want to keep the ball rolling. You
Yeah.
know, like I feel like 8 seasons of a television show is just
Yeah.
such a stamp for my 30th birthday. It's like now I told myself I want a Netflix #1 or I want a box office #1. Like
Yep.
I want to get people out of their houses to come see me in a theater or you know whether if it is, it's got to be a Netflix #1. It's got to be a big streamer #1 at this point, or just something super different and or selling out arenas for the music. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't. I still don't feel like I arrived music. You know,
You know, you can always
you know.
re-release Selfish.
Hey,
That
you know
song
what I
is
mean?
popping.
Yeah, because I think the main thing to learn about the music industry until you're touring at a high level of stadiums or arenas, you're not really bringing in the income that made what made it may look like. So
Yes.
you know, and it's our people. We make things look real good, but learning the numbers and learning the business, you start to see like, all right, there's levels.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Before we get out of here, Jacob, first and foremost, again, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. You know, the city, we love you so much. We are extremely proud to see the journey that you've taken and you becoming a grown man. Is there any shout outs that you want to give out?
Shout out to my family, the Lattimore, and shout out to the Taylors, my mom's side of the family. Shout out to my boy Sawyer. I think Jacquees in town today. I talked to him today. He was like, "I'm in your city." Shout out to Jacquees out there. Shout out to all the Milwaukee fans. That's just anybody that seen me grinding at a Boys and Girls Club. Anybody I went to school with at Elm or Townsend. I thank y'all for the support. I definitely see y'all. I see the DMs. I see the comments. I see the love from the Milwaukee Verified page and all that stuff. Thank y'all so much. I really do appreciate it. And, the city really grounds me and shapes me in a way to launch me into, Hollywood and the world.
Absolutely. And make sure y'all continue to watch the rest of The Chi. It has been amazing thus far. Again, Jacob, thank you so much. And I genuinely wish you continued success in everything that you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next up, we got NBA legend Darius Miles, who will...
Appreciate you, Jacob.
We got to go to break to pay some bills. Do not touch that dial. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler.
Light-skinned ass nigga.
I don't want you to wait. I get, they still take from me. The more money I get, the more problems that they see. Why you gotta be so? Why you gotta be so selfish? Why you gotta be so? Why you gotta be so?
Freedom has a history. Come experience it. Visit the Milton House Museum, Wisconsin's only certified Underground Railroad site open to the public. Tour the historic 1844 Inn, step down into the cellar, and walk through the underground tunnel in the footsteps of freedom seekers who risked everything on their journey to liberty. Hear powerful stories of courage, sacrifice, hope, and determination, and discover Wisconsin's connection to the Underground Railroad and the fight for freedom. Guided tours of the Milton House are available Tuesday through Sunday through Labor Day weekend. Learn more at miltonhouse.org.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way, improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to healthcare and nutritious food for their tables. Where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support. And where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
Milwaukee Black Talk lives here on 101.7 FM and 1510 AM, W269DL Milwaukee, and WGKB Waukesha.
Quick as they can, the atmosphere is now ripped. I'm so like a pimp, I'm glad it's night. So the light from the sun would not burn me on my bum when I shoot the moon. High jump the broom, like a preemie out the womb. My partner yelling too soon, don't do it. Reconsider, read some litter. Sure on the subject, you sure? You know we got your back like chiropractic. If that do you dirty, we'll wipe parts out as in detergent. Now hurry, go on to the altar. I know you ain't a pimp, but pimp, remember what I taught you. Keep your heart, 3 stacks. Keep your heart, hey, keep your heart, 3 stacks. Keep your heart, man, these girls are smart. 3 stacks, these girls are smart. Play your part.
101.7 The Truth. Happy Thursday, Milwaukee. Thank you so much for tapping in. Shout out to Milwaukee's own Jacob Lattimore. We just got a chance to interview him. Shout out to Homer Blow as well. He happens to be the first person to interview Jacob and play his song on the radio. And you can catch him as well as Bailey Coleman tomorrow morning on the morning show. Right now, we have special guests. Y'all know him as NBA legend Darius Miles. I know him as my big bro D. Darius, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you feeling?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I said Darius, right? That sounded awkward. What up, D? First and foremost, I have to publicly say how inspired I am by you. I know your journey personally. I see that you currently have a book that's on the way out, What They Don't Tell You Before the League. And I've had a chance to read it. I've had a chance to dive into the mental health workbook. I know you've went through some things with your health, with everything, and you still managed to come out on top. So I just want to give you your flowers. I admire your strength, and always is always love. The question I have for you, I want to dig right into it. Before the world knew who Darius Miles were, who was it that you were becoming?
I was a kid from East St. Louis that grew up. Called East St. Louis the City of Champions. We have greats that came there, like Jackie Joyner Kersey, Fonzo Ellis, Brian Cox. And them was the ones that I seen that made me have a dream to try to become something in basketball, especially if I'm so Ellis. My mom was a school bus driver. I was Elton Miles' son before I was Darius Miles.
Come on now.
And I just came up through East St. Louis and had a dream and just worked hard for it. Seen a bigger world out there than them 89 blocks that I grew up in. And I was fortunate enough to get to the league.
Absolutely. So I know in past conversations we've talked about your family and everything that you had gone through, being the only child, and then also being inside of a home where you were literally the only child. What was that like? What was the relationship like? God rest your mother's soul. What was the relationship like with your mother growing up, and how much did she influence you into becoming the person that you are today?
Oh, it was everything. My mom was my best friend. I tell my cousins all the time. My mom is the youngest child of all her brothers and sisters, but I grew up in the house with my grandmother, my granddad, and my mom. So that special bond over my cousins, I tell them all the time, I had with my grandma and granddad as well as my mom. Um, it was everything. She was hard on me. You know, I was
Yeah.
my mom 5'9", I was 5'9", fifth grade. You know what I'm saying? So I was bigger than her in fifth grade. But just that bond I had with all three of them, just a special bond that the rest of my family didn't really get the opportunity because I was in the house with my grandmother and granddad. But me and my mom, we was like brothers and sisters as well as like mom and son. You know, she was
Yes.
super tough on me as well as super loving at the same time. So it taught me a different um, pedigree and gentleman to myself and how to carry myself. So I owe everything to them three.
Absolutely. And for those who are not aware about East St. Louis, I know you and my pops, actually, you and my father grew up in the same projects in East St. Louis. Can you kind of describe what it was like being a young black male in that city, like you said, the 89 blocks, and what it meant to try and pull yourself out of that environment so that you can become successful?
Yeah, it was just really different. You know, it's a predominantly black town. All the bad influences overlooked all the good influences there.
Yeah.
I hate really just talking about the bad as much of East St. Louis because it's so much light and it's so much good, there's so much talent in East
Yeah.
St. Louis. But it was just you had to make decisions, and some of them decisions you'll walk in there and it might be a snake or a tiger in there, and some of them decisions you walk in there and it might be a light and a sun and a dream in there, and you just had to really just make it to navigate through it. You had to make choices about not hanging out with certain people or moving certain ways or going certain places. But overall, man, I wouldn't trade it in for the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking back at the younger version of yourself, is there a version of you that got left behind once you was introduced to basketball?
You said what? Say that again.
Was there looking back with you being at the looking back at your younger self, was there a version of you that got left behind once you was introduced to basketball?
Yeah, I'll say after where I'm from, 7th through ninth was junior high at the time, and 10th through 12th was high school. After we took that test and you confirmed that you passed from 7th through ninth, I was fighting and getting expelled for the rest of the year,
Yeah.
every year. And when I got to high school in 10th grade, I just kind of just turned over a new leaf and started believing that I had a chance to go to a big time college or, had a chance to do something else outside of what I was seeing every day streets of East St. Louis. That summer leading up to 10th grade year, the summer going to high school, I had the opportunity to start playing AAU ball with a team called the Illinois Warriors. I went to night camp and got around some of the top players in the country, seniors all the way down to ninth graders. I had the opportunity to go to Jordan camp and meet Michael Jordan in Santa Barbara and play with Jordan. So that summer was a big summer for me. So when I got to high school, 10th grade year, I just kind of turned over a new leaf. Wasn't being a class clown no more, really focusing on my grades. Just trying to walk the straight and narrow. I would start getting college letters from big time D1.
Yes. Are you?
We just lost.
We can't hear you. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna get D Miles
I'm
back
sorry.
on. There you go.
I'm sorry.
I can hear you now. It's okay.
I'm sorry. I started getting college letters to big time D1s, and I was focusing on the SAT to try to pass the test to get in college. And I just started kind of focusing, stop being the class clown, stop trying to just get in any type of trouble
Yeah.
that possibly I could to mess up my chances of doing something better, in my life. My mom, she drove school buses, didn't graduate from high school. So I just wanted to just kind of turn over a new leaf, and she just stayed on me and helped me focus as well.
Yeah.
And with the support of my grandmother and my granddad, I made it away.
When you began to make this change due to you changing your environment or having that experience outside of your environment, did you notice that the people around you started to change as well? Like, did you begin to attract different people?
Yeah, because I was traveling. I was doing stuff that the normal people in East St. Louis wasn't doing. Like I said, that summer going into my 10th grade year, leaving junior high, I started to see more.
Yeah.
That was my first time really traveling around. I went to a bunch of cities and states and played basketball. I started seeing a lot of coaches and stuff that I see on TV. Running into Michael Jordan and just seeing all these people, and then coming back and seeing the difference between where I was just at to back to where I was living.
Yeah.
And it just gave me an opportunity to see a whole nother world, and I just didn't really want to mess up the opportunity. A lot of people, when they was hearing you from East St. Louis, they instantly have a look of you because it's a hard place and it's known for different things. So I just try to carry myself in the proper way, not to get in trouble when I'm around these groups and I'm outside, and just do the right thing and just try to give myself a chance instead
That
of
part.
being labeled as something else.
Yes, that part. And that's tell the students all the time, like the only person that can stop you is you. Ain't nobody else standing in the way. You standing in your own way. And I think oftentimes, like a lot of the youth, a lot of people in general, they just don't give themselves a chance based off of who they're around, where they're from, what it is that they have going on. I want to touch into we about to go to break pretty soon, but I want to touch into the mental health piece, primarily because of the things you've been through, but also the book that you have that will be released in October. With that book, there is a mental health worksheet. And is geared and aimed towards young athletes. And I've had a chance to read the book. I've had a chance to view the mental health workbook as well. And I find it very valuable. And I do believe that going forward, all sports should require this, given the mental capacity of a lot of our young athletes. We are talking with NBA legend Darius Miles. We want to hear from you. 833-212-1017. We got to go to break to pay some bills, but do not touch that dial. I promise you we're coming back. Jazz Tyler, 101.7 The Truth.
I'm Sherwin Hughes, and I know the power of Stars and Stripes Honor Flight firsthand. As someone who's been on an honor flight, I can tell you it's a day you'll never forget. Stars and Stripes Honor Flight gives our oldest veterans who served in any location in June of 1975 or earlier a free one-day trip to Washington, D.C. for veterans. Airfare, meals, a coach bus tour, and special flight apparel are all included. It's a day of honor, gratitude, and camaraderie. Veterans who served in the Vietnam or Korean War go to flySSHF.org and ask for an application.
At Milwaukee College Prep, we believe brilliance lives in every child. Here, students are challenged, supported, and celebrated every single day. With small class sizes, dedicated teachers, and a proven track record of academic excellence, MCP is helping Milwaukee kids reach their fullest potential. Enrollment is still open for grades K-3 through 8. Spaces are limited. Apply today. Give your child a school where they'll thrive. Visit mkeprep.com or call today. Milwaukee College Prep, brilliance lives here.
In Milwaukee County, equity means making sure everyone has a real chance to thrive. That's why the Milwaukee County Office of Equity works to help remove barriers, strengthen community connections, and support fair access to opportunities across Milwaukee County. Want to learn what they do, explore resources, or find ways to get involved? Just search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online. Milwaukee County Office of Equity, advancing equity for all Milwaukee County residents. For more information, search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Check. Straight up, dog. Straight up.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct, and welcome back. If you are just joining us, we are continuing our conversation with former NBA legend Darius Miles. Darius burst onto the national scene as one of the country's top high school basketball players before becoming the 3rd overall pick for the Los Angeles Clippers in 2000. During his 8 seasons in the league, he played for the Clippers, Cavaliers, as well as the Grizzlies. He's earned NBA All-Rookie First-Team honors and became known for his explosive athleticism and unforgettable highlight reel plays. Today, he's given fans an inside look at the game as a father, a co-host of the acclaimed Knuckleheads podcast. We've already covered a lot. We got to jump right back into it again. Thank you so much, D, for joining us today. Before we went to break, I mentioned that you have your book coming out and that it has a mental health workbook. And as I read it, I've read it twice already. And I'm laughing because it's incredibly powerful and I'm excited for the world to read it. Can you walk us through the journey of being in a mental space to where you can sit down and tell someone your entire life and then go back and replay it all over again? Can you hear D?
I think your phone is muted.
You there,
I think
Derek?
he has this on mute.
Are you on mute?
All right, now he's joining, rejoining.
Stay tuned. Do not touch that dial. We got NBA legend Darius Miles in the building. We are going to be talking about his new book that will be released in October, What They Don't Tell You Before the League. And it also has a mental health workbook attached to it as well. I've had the pleasure and the honor of being able to obtain this book prior to the release date. I've had a chance to read it from start to finish, including the mental health workbook, and it is incredible. The story is powerful, coming from East St. Louis all the way up into joining and being a part of the Jordan brand for life, as well as going through obstacles with injury and so on and so on. Can you hear me, D?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So I was talking about the book. I was talking about the book, What They Don't Tell You Before the League. And I was asking, what did it take? Like, what type of mental state did you have to be in order to sit down and replay all of these things in your life over again while creating the book?
It took a lot because I'm a very private person. Um, just being vulnerable like that is was just big for me. But I feel like it was being mature and taking another step up in life, and
Yes.
feel like it needs to be said with these kids and with the future that we have coming after us. Some of these stories need to be told, whether I want to kind of tell it or not. But
Mm-hmm.
if I can help 1 to 1 million or to take something from this book, that was just my ultimate goal with it.
Absolutely. So, when your mother, let me ask you this: what was the first situation that you feel like happened in your life that caused like, um, where you noticed that you were struggling mentally?
I didn't notice it until everything was kind of done. I would say right before they told me that I couldn't play because of my injury in the NBA no more. My career was over. My grandmother died. Then they told me I couldn't play in the NBA no more because my knee was badly injured.
Mm-hmm.
Then my grandfather died. Then a couple years after that, my mom passed. Then it just took a couple of years to kind of realize I never really been in adversity. So I didn't know what it was. I never felt what I was feeling. I felt alone. I felt sad. I felt depressed. Many thoughts. And that's when I realized, like, man, I'm just kind of going through something that I never felt before. And I
Yeah.
just started seeking out, people to talk to, help, and kind of realize what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, we train athletes to push through pain physically, but do you think that where we are today in the athletic world, do you think that we are currently training them to also ignore the emotional pain? Like where does mental health meet athletes in today's world?
It just need more conversation. Because we're expected to get on TV, national TV, and perform, but you never know what's going on at home. You never know what's going on with that person's family. You never know what's going on with a person's child or just life in general.
Mm-hmm.
And just having the opportunity to speak to someone and kind of get your thoughts and try to get perspective or options
Mm-hmm.
or change the way you're thinking about certain things because it's hard to go through something off the court and then get on the court and have to focus for your team to try to win games or championships or whatever position you're in. So sometimes it's I ain't gonna say sometimes, all the time it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And in our community, the first thing they say if you go and talk to a therapist or you go and talk to somebody about your thoughts or your problems, that you must be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
and that's a myth. You know what I'm saying? I feel like going to therapy and going to stuff, it can make you be a better husband. It can make you be a better wife. It can make you be a better partner, a better mom, a better dad,
Yeah.
a better friend, a better family member. Uh, it's so many benefits from it, but the myth of growing up in poverty, when you try to go and get help like that, they instantly want to tell you crazy. And I'm here to say that that's never the truth. You never know what somebody going through. Some you can just lose your child, and it can just get on you,
Absolutely.
and you have all these thoughts. And instead of going to talk to somebody, you try to be strong and try to collect it, and it might not just be the right thing to do. You might need to get that out or out yourself.
Absolutely. Let's take it back a little bit with the title of the book, What They Don't Tell You Before the League. This is extremely powerful. I have not seen anything like this or read anything like this. How did you, or rather, what made you come up with that topic? What experiences did you have personally in your career that made it easy for you to come up with that title?
Um, I was fortunate enough to work with a lady named Stephanie Williams. She's the author. She helped me with it. Basically, she did her thing with me, and
Mhm.
we just talked a whole lot. And I put it out. I put it out there to her, and she just formed it in a way that's I feel like is touching and beautiful and a
Yes.
good read. So I really want to thank her a lot, Stephanie Williams, and we just came up with different titles, and with that title, I feel like that was a great title to just go with. I feel like it gives you it makes you curious
Mhm.
about what it is and the story and all that stuff. So I just thought that was just the perfect title for it.
So let's get into it. There's a lot of young athletes who are listening. There are athletes that we all are around 24/7, whether it's your children or your loved ones. And there is no manual outside of your book on information that's not provided prior to going to the league. So let's start with that. What is some advice that you have, or what are some steps? What information are we missing when it pertains to students prior to them entering the NBA?
Just trying to seek out financial literacy. If nobody's in your family ever made $1 million or 500,000, you don't know financially what that takes. You think you
Yes.
Scrooge McDuck and you got a big gold bank in the backyard and all that, and you can just spend crazy. But just learning financial literacy, as well as learning financial literacy, like I say, mental health. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You have to get your mind right. You got to understand how to navigate if you have brothers and sisters, if you have mom and dad, you have to look after grandma, other family members, just knowing how to structure that and make that work for not only for you to continue to succeed and live a better life, but for your family members or putting them in position to live a better life. So I
Yes.
would say just before them, mainly just the financial literacy and just having somebody to talk to just get information from. Ask questions. That was one of the big things to do. When I came up, it kind of was frowned upon to try to seek out information.
Mhm.
People think that because you have $1 million, you one of the smartest people in the world. There's a lot of people that have $1 billion that's not smarter than a guy that's only making 60,000.
That's right.
So just because you got a lot of money don't mean you're the smartest guy in the room. So just stuff like that.
Absolutely. Who were some of your OGs once you got into the league?
Oh man, Michael Jordan, Q, Quinn Richardson, Lonzo Mourning, Patrick Ewing. I always pay respect to the OGs. But like even with having OGs, if you're not using them the proper way,
Come on.
they just an OG.
Yes.
You know, I had these OGs, but I wasn't seeking the information or asking questions to get it from them. I
Mhm.
was just grateful to have them as my OGs. You know.
Yeah. Yep. And then you land a lifetime deal with Jordan, with the Jordan brand.
Yes, you could say that. I was
So how
the
did that
youngest guy
happen?
ever signed to Jordan.
How did that come about?
Uh, well, I was like I told you, since the summer going to my 10th grade year, I was going to Jordan camp every year, and I built a friendship and a rapport with him, me and Quentin. So we wound up getting drafted to the same team, and after the draft that summer, we went to Jordan camp, which would be 4 years in a row, like we always do. But now we're NBA players,
Mhm.
and Nike didn't give us a deal, and we always been Nike guys. So and one was really just pressing us, sending us a bunch of gear and stuff. So when we got to Jordan camp, we was draped down in and one gear.
Yeah.
And when Mike seen us, he was like, what's that y'all got on? I thought y'all was Nike guys." We was like, "Yeah, man, they kind of not trying to give us a deal, it seemed like." He was like, "Oh, all right." And so we were staying at the same resort as Mike. And that morning, my agent called me and was like, "What happened?" He was like, "What you talking about?" He was like, "Man, Nike just sent me a deal and said that y'all guys gonna be Jordan brand guys, and send me your addresses and all that stuff, and they about to send you stuff to the resort." And after that, we was Jordan guys since then.
Yeah, still getting them. Still getting
Yeah.
no packages to this day. We got NBA legend for real. NBA legend Darius Miles on the line. We got to go to break to pay some bills. It's your girl Jazz Tyler. Do not touch that dial. 101.7 The Truth.
Are you looking for a place to shop that offers a fair market price? You need to visit Century Food Store on 92nd and Lisbon Avenue. This week, buy boneless top sirloin steak, $8.99 a pound. Essential everyday purified water, 2 for $7. Frito-Lay baked snacks, dipper salsa, 2 for $6. 1 pound of sweet strawberries, $3.49. Minute Maid zero sugar drinks or Gold Peak tea, 2 for $5. And Stone Ridge Creamery ice cream sandwiches, $3.99. So what you waiting for? You can also order groceries through DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Instacart, or stop by Century Foods at 92nd and Lisbon Avenue today.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Okay, I can't stop now, won't stop. Last time I checked, I'm 10 toes down. Run it up and then invest. I'm looking in the mirror, really him beating on my chest. Then look at my agenda like what's next.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. Looking to discover and support local businesses in our community? Then make sure you tune in every Friday at 8 a.m. to Truth in the Morning with Homer Blow and Bailey Coleman for What the Business Is, powered by We Energies. Each week you'll hear from local business owners as they share what their business is, where they are located, and one valuable lesson they've learned along the way. We Energies is proud to help power local businesses and the communities they serve. Don't miss What the Business Is every Friday at 8 a.m. only on Truth in the Morning with Homer Blow and Bailey Coleman, powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local businesses. Milwaukee, Truth Nation, wherever you are listening, we have NBA legend Darius Miles on the line. We have talked about his life, his journey. Now we're tapping into his book, What They Don't Tell You Before the League. And one of my favorite parts of the book is the mental health workbook that is attached to it. My question for you, Darius, is your book includes a mental health workbook. Why was it important that readers don't just consume your story, but actually do the work themselves?
I just thought it was just super dope to after they read a story like mine with this book to just go through, have something to go through their own personal stuff that they can mark down, something like their own type of diary, a mental health type diary, and just put their stuff down. I thought it was just super dope with me and Stephanie coming up with the idea to do that. I thought it was different, and I thought it would really help people after they read the story.
Absolutely. What is some things that you have done throughout your career or even being retired to assist you with your mental health?
Uh, uh, Go to therapy, communicate more
Yeah.
with loved ones, kids, people. Um, just mentally, just seeking peace of
Yes.
mind. Um, just try to be understanding and never being more of a listener to listen to other people's thoughts and feelings as well as my own.
Yeah.
And just really kind of stuff like that.
Yeah. So we've talked about the book. I want to tap into it a little more, but I also want to touch on Impressive Event Solutions. For those who are not aware, you are a part of, well, we are a part of a tech company, Impressive Event Solutions. Can you walk us through what that is, what your role is, and what your experience has been? Okay. So we're waiting on the technical difficulties to end. In doing so, I want to shout out to the chat. We got the crew in the building. Shout out Jasmine West. Shout out My D. Shout out Anita Nicole. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I don't know where y'all been at, but we're gonna talk about that another time. But again, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Today we are joined with NBA legend Darius Miles. Darius was selected in the year of 2000 by the Los Angeles Clippers. He is currently has a lifetime deal with the Jordan brand. Grew up in East St. Louis. Host of the Knuckleheads podcast. Currently has a book that will be released in October titled "What They Don't Tell You Before the League," and that also includes a mental health workbook. I've had the honor and the pleasure of being able to read this book prior to the release date. And I have to tell you, I'm not saying this because I have a relationship with Darius and I'm not trying to be biased, but the book is amazing. His story is amazing, the things he's been through. And I truly believe that we do have to get more serious about mental health
I'm
as it
sorry.
pertains to the youth. It's okay. So we were talking about Impressive Event Solutions, the tech company, what it means first and foremost to be a black man in tech, and how did this come about?
Yeah, you don't really see, we don't have a large majority of people that's minority in the tech industry. So when we go to some of these functions and stuff like that, you don't really see a lot of people of color in these events. But to be a part of the tech industry, and it opened my eyes up to really how the world works.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't realize everybody carries tech on them every single day of their life. Tech is kind of changing the world as we speak, and it's
Mm-hmm.
only getting better and better and better. So to be a part of a company like Impressive Event Solutions is truly a blessing. One of the co-founders is Steven Shaw. He's an
Shout
amazing
out Steve.
person, and
Yes.
trust me, you're gonna really hear this name in the world. He's gonna be definitely a big time guy. Just being a part of this company, man, I feel like it's innovating, it's changing the world. It's a data SAC company, and it's focused on live events
Mm-hmm.
and correcting the industry as it speak in any sector of the live event space. So just
Yes.
being a part of Press Event Solutions, trust me, you're gonna see this one day all over the world. And I'm just glad to be a part of it and be a part of Steve's journey.
Absolutely. And it's been a grind. D actually is a person who brought me on board with Impressive Event Solutions. And then was that last year the NFL draft? They utilized it for the first time
Yeah.
at one of the events there. But just watching like the grind, we've been to Dallas, we've been to multiple states, meeting different people, trying to have funding rounds. I had someone on here the other day where we were talking about the funding rounds and how to obtain capital and all of these things. And it's extremely difficult. You know, it's extremely hard, especially if you haven't done your due diligence when it comes to being informed about tech. What is some of the things you went through in the beginning to prepare yourself to understand more about the tech world?
Just well, on one side, just the grind of it. When we tried to open doors and doors was closed when it come to funding or any of that, it just made us work harder and better. I'm glad that we just kind of didn't get the funding
Mm-hmm.
because it made us just go harder and do our research and just put our minds together and seek all the information. I feel like if we would have probably got the money, it would have been a lot of wasted money because we didn't get all the information that we need to get
Yeah.
now. You know what I'm saying? But it just made us better as a company overall. Um, Coders, man, coders are changing the world. Like these are the guys that make sure you have these apps on this phone
Yes.
and doing all the stuff that you're doing. A lot of people don't know a black lady created FaceTime.
Yep.
Um, just innovating stuff like that. Like I'm glad to be a part of a company because I think differently now since I done been in the tech industry.
Mm-hmm.
I look at the world in a different light. So it's a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen just watching the growth as far as not giving up the strength, and then also one of the things I've learned just from being around you is just making sure I educate myself. You know, if it's something I don't, from you and Steve, if it's something I don't know, go figure it out. And shout out to Steve again. Steve actually finished his degree. I remember when we both started school together and I did not finish. But Steve
Yeah, he
went and
about to
got
get his
that business.
master's in November, man. He's
Yes.
valedictorian too, man. Full Sail College, man. He's doing his thing.
Absolutely. He's doing what it takes, and I mentioned that because of a team. You know, you have one person doing this, one person doing that, everybody playing a part when it comes to making sure that the team is successful. As we're heading into the end of the interview, we're going to break soon, but before we do, I want to tap into what that looks like for the youth. How important is it to have a team, meaning the right people around you?
For me, when I came back outside and got back into the world after I went through everything I went through, I just noticed that mostly, if not all, the most successful people in the world has a
Mm-hmm.
great team around them, and their goal is to push all the way. Nobody's selfish.
Yeah.
If it's one person in front or if it's five people in front, the most successful people that I was seeing was having great teams. And a lot of guys I was looking at was like Dwayne Wade, Shaquille O'Neal, and just certain people that had great teams around them that put them in position
Yeah.
for everybody to be successful no matter what their role was in the team.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And speaking of a team, you are the co-host of Knuckleheads podcast. How did that come about? And can you touch on the history that you and Q has had throughout the years?
Well, I've been knowing Q since I was like 15, 16 years old. Uh, he's like a big bro to me. He's 2 years. He was a senior when I was a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he wound up staying 2 years of college, and we got drafted the same year to the same team. We never thought of that, but our friendship always been strong over the years. Not only our friendship, but our family's friendship. And when I came back outside, I did an article. The article did well, and they was talking about let's do a show. Never heard a podcast before, so we tried it, and it was instantly success.
Yeah.
You know, and it turned into a responsibility for me to just kind of tell these NBA stories because a lot of your favorite players, their favorite player is a guy that you might not even know or pay attention to.
Yes.
And just to get these stories off just in a positive way and being in a positive lane, I wanted to kind of keep that energy. And Q was on the same page, but to do it with him, it was even more of a blessing. You know, 30 years from now, a celebration that we was doing, being recognized not only in the NBA, but to the world was just a blessing. And people blessed to support it.
Absolutely. We got NBA legend Darius Miles. My brother D is live and direct. We got to go to break to pay this last bill, but do not touch that dial. We will be back. 101.7 The Truth.
Milwaukee business owners, this is your moment. Every Friday at 8 a.m., call in to 101.7 The Truth for What the Business Is. Tell us what your business is, where you're located, and one thing you've learned along the way. What the Business is powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local business. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth.
At UW Milwaukee, students don't have to wait until college to start building their future. Roar Ready lets students K through 12th grade join in hands-on programs across campus. From science and tech to arts, sports, and more, students try new things, meet new people, and build skills that matter. Programs are led by UW Milwaukee faculty, staff, and current students. And it's easy to register online. Get started today at uwm.edu/roarready. UW Milwaukee. Roar Ready. Your child's future starts here.
Black Arts Fest MKE is back and bigger than ever. Come out Saturday, August 1st at the Summerfest grounds for a full day celebrating Black culture, African heritage, music, art, fashion, food, and family fun. Enjoy live performances from Big E, Hollywood the Classic, Cold Drink, MJ, Star Red, the Lattimore Brothers, and don't miss the headliner, Dave Hollister. Celebrate the foundations of hip-hop with the legendary Boogaloo Shrimp, a.k.a. Turbo from Break It, the Divine Nine Party, a Michael Jackson tribute by Brew City Soul, a gospel music celebration, and the Black Hollywood Experience featuring Jamal Gravy Woolard and Benzino. Compete in the culture contest with a $500 cash prize awarded in the categories of African heritage hairstyles, fashion design, and fine art. Bring the whole family for horse rides, the Kids Zone, a Corvette car and bike show, and more. Tickets are on sale now, plus there are discounts for seniors and youth. Credentialed veterans and kids 7 and under are free. Black Arts Fest MKE, Saturday, August 1st at the Summerfest grounds. Get your tickets now at blackartsfestmke.com. And for more info, follow Black Arts Fest MKE on Facebook.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
I'm moving, riding. I'ma drop the E, I'm still in motion, moving, riding.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. We got my good brother D, Darius Miles, who has joined us all the way from Florida. Thank you so much, D, for tapping in with us again. We've talked about his journey, his story, as well as his book that will be released in October, entitled What They Don't Tell You Before the League. This book has a mental health workbook in it as well. I will be doing my due diligence to make sure we can align that with some coaches to get our youth the proper mental health services that they deserve. As we come to an end, D, I know we always have real conversations before we go. I just want you to tap in and provide any advice for the youth or any athletes, young athletes who are listening when it comes to their career when it comes to the people that they have around them. We were talking earlier about the Nolan Wells case and how important it was to make sure that your friends are actually your friends. So what is your advice to the young athletes in today's world?
Your phone's muted.
Can you hear me?
We can't hear you, Darius. You gotta unmute your phone.
Get back to it shortly, but shout out to the chat. Madi says tech world and data centers is where the money is.
Yeah, nope, still can't hear you.
I
see your lips moving, but I don't hear you.
Of our people who will understand how important it is, and that industry is wide open for us to go and get the bag, right? That's what you want to do. You want to go and get the bag. The bag is in tech, I promise you. And it may seem a little bit difficult, but it's well worth it. It's well worth it. Again, shout out to Steven Schaff, who is the CEO of Impressive Event Solutions. Darius is the vice president. I am the vice president of strategic partnerships. He is a person who brought me into this, and for the past, Steve has been doing it for 10 years. I joined about 4 years ago, and for the past 3 to 4 years, it has been a lot information, a lot of learning, a lot of training, a lot of confidence, a lot of failures, a lot of risk, but all of the above. And I couldn't have asked to have done it with anybody other than the team. So again, thank you so much, D, for not just, including me in what you have going on, but just being a big brother, always being there to provide advice and just staying authentic, man. I guess it's a Midwest thing. A lot of times when you travel and you meet different people, and even some of y'all favorite athletes and entertainers and actors, people aren't really who they say they are. They come on social media, they take pictures, do videos and interviews, and they always end up being somebody completely different behind closed doors. And he has simply not been that. He has showed up as his authentic self. He has supported me in ways that a lot of people who call themselves my brother or my friend has not, and continues to. And as long as I'm here on this earth, D, thank you. You have a friend in me, a sister in me. And I want y'all to make sure that y'all check out his book, What They Don't Tell You Before the League, right? This book has a mental health workbook attached to it. This book, when it releases in October, if there's any coaches or any young athletes out there, I am telling you to please make sure that you go ahead and purchase this. This is a story that is authentic, highly anticipated. This is a story that we don't hear often. And again, it's attached to the workbook. If you are now just tuning in, Darius Miles did touch on earlier regarding some of the battles he faced. He was drafted in the year 2002, the Los Angeles Clippers. He ended up becoming injured 8 years later, and they told him that he could never play again because of that. And during this time, his grandmother passed, his grandfather passed. A year after that, his mother passed, and he's the only sibling. So he had to, not only did his life ended as far as his career, it ended as far as his family. And that takes a lot to be the only child and to be the youngest child. And then all of the people you live in, imagine being in a household and everyone you live with is gone, right? That is mentally draining. That is a struggle. That is a lot. That is a burden that no one should have to carry. And he mentioned the importance of going to therapy and not allowing people around you to tell you that therapy doesn't work or that you're crazy for going. No, you should go. But most importantly, one of the things we discussed was how important it is for the young athletes to focus on their mental health, and financial literacy, especially because of NIL, because of social media, because of the way that society tells them they should dress and the things they need to do in order to be successful. These are all things that are pertaining to their mental health, right? It's extremely important when you look at a lot of these youth who are playing basketball, and we can go back to some of the coaches now who played basketball before. A lot of the mistakes that they made was pertaining to mental health. A lot of people they're around, they're in one lifestyle, and then they're also trying to make it out by playing ball, but they're surrounded by so much negativity, and it takes a strong person mentally to be able to say, hey, you know what? I gotta feed my family. I want to be successful, so I can't go party with y'all right now. I can't be on whatever it is with y'all right now. And then what ends up happening is your friends will reject you. You acting funny. You switched up. Now you getting noticed and you going upstate, and all of that is rhetoric. All of that means absolutely nothing. So again, thank you so much to my good brother Darius Miles for stopping by today and jamming with us. And when that book released, if you aren't following him, please follow him on social media. When that book releases, what they don't tell you before the league, please make sure that you go out and get that. And if you are a coach, or if you have students or children who play basketball, football, whatever it is, there is a mental health workbook that is also attached to that as well. I also want to give another shout out to Jacob Lattimore for stopping by earlier. We had an amazing conversation. If you guys have not been able to catch that live, you can go back on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, 101.7 The Truth. Not only can you catch these interviews, but you can also catch other interviews that we've done. Be sure to follow us on social media, on Instagram and Facebook at 101.7 The Truth. And also follow the Tapped In page. Let's be clear, there is only one Tap In MKE, and that is this right here. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Tap In MKE. My Instagram is live and direct on the screen, The Jazzy Effect. Listen, man, it's been a beautiful day. I enjoyed it. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Anita, to Jazz, to Madi, to everyone who tuned in today. Thank you so much. Be sure to tune in tomorrow morning with legendary Homer Blow and Bailey Coleman for the morning show. And make sure you tap in with us Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. I am your host, Jazz Tyler. It's been an amazing day. Milwaukee, I love you. Be safe. Peace.